This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
Hi, this is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm James Wood. Here with me, I have Rich Latta. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Just ready to talk about some wrestling, and a lot of stuff happened the last week or so. Exciting times in the wrestling world, and just looking around, it's just I don't know. I feel like it's picking up.
Yeah, it's definitely doing that. I mean, last night was Takeover, an excellent show. I don't know where to put this, but I'm not going to say what this means for the future because we've seen them have good takeover since then, and they still have weird stuff all over their show anyway. But as far as in the ring, a spectacular or a fantastic show, a show that will be in one of the best shows of the year, obviously. What do you think of the show, Rich?
I thought it was really good. The wrestlers were working with it seems like they wanted to send a message. They're like, this TV show has no momentum or whatever, but at the end of the day, we're wrestlers and you can trust us to put on a good show. Like when we're matched with someone, in the ring that's hungry like we are. I thought the main event was great. In particular, I liked the tag match a lot. The very end of the Gargano Kushida match, I was like, well, what the fuck? But I liked the match a lot overall. I wrote down some scattered notes about the show. So I don't know if it's because I don't watch it every week or whatever, and I'm not used to her, but the NXT announcer is on my worst. She's completely on my nerves. She's just yelling and screaming at me the whole time. I'm like,
the ring announcer?
Damn. Yes, the ring announcer. Just way too much. Take it down a bit, miss. But I'm sure she's being coached to yell like that by the game. So, but yeah, minor complaint.
That's very. I didn't even know they had a women's announcer. I had no idea. That is such a who gives a shit thing. I never thought about that person for a second,
bro. Throughout I want to say the first 3 matches, and then when Mercedes Martinez interrupted her, I was like, Mercedes Martinez is a god, because while she was about to do all the entrances, she jumped on I think it was Io or whatever, and I was like, yes. I was like, thank you, cut her off, please. I thought Zach Gibson's promo, he popped me.
He's fucking hilarious. He really is.
Shotzi Blackheart, I would shout out to MJ does PR in the Discord. He said the team of Black Moon.
Black Moon.
With Shotzi, it's weird because it fluctuates for me with her, whether I think she's actively terrible and dangerous in the ring and just does a bunch of dumb shit, and the other times oh, okay, she's cool. And I thought she had a good match last night. I like Wes Lee, who the former, I think it was Desmond Xavier. I think he's super raw. His tag team partner seems like kind of a jag, but at least we got one. And the Grizzly Young Vets are awesome. So
yeah. So start off with the first match, the women's final for the Dusty Cup. So that's Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai versus Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. They set up to do a lot of stuff this match, and a lot of it was good, but also they missed shit. And that's like the thing with a lot of Shotzi stuff is the ambition is there, the want to is there, the toughness is there, all that stuff is there, but like she's very spot as opposed to, being able to wrestle in transition and counter and all that kind of stuff, and like that part is lacking. So like when stuff gets missed, it's like you feel like they're just like, all right, well, never mind, just go to the next section of the choreography at points. Like not to say that it's like not to say that it's necessarily bad, because everybody has their sections of this stuff or whatever else, but it kind of just seems or it sticks out to me anyway. But ultimately, they had Ember there, they had Dakota there, and Shotzi there to die multiple times, doing falls and splats.
Luckily, she didn't run into the announce table head first, like one of the dives that came across my timeline.
The one
maybe a week or two ago.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, there was one in this match where she does a dive through the ropes onto Dakota.
She got her hands up this time though.
And no, but the thing is, like, they landed short of the table, but the way Dakota fell backwards, and when she fell, she was literally fell with maybe a foot and a half of space before her head in the table, and it was like, I don't know if she had the presence of mind to move herself to make sure she didn't get splatted, or if it was by the grace of God that she didn't die, but luckily she's still with us and didn't hurt herself. But yeah,
that was an improvement from the last one I saw, so good on you, Johnson.
But yeah, ultimately, the whole match is the setup that it's worked almost in reverse. Like, you have the babyface on one side, and then you have Goliath with David, and David is a heel here in Dakota Kai, and the whole match setup where the baby faces are isolating the weak link and keep making sure this beast doesn't get out of the cage, because if the beast got out of the cage, they'll lose. So they're doing a hot tag for the setup for Raquel the heel by beating up on the heel Dakota at times, especially early on in the match. And then once they got Raquel in, then the match started to feel more natural, or whatever else. But that was a story that is one of those things where you watched up and be enough, and then you see there's always the babyface corner, the heel corner, or whatever else. So then you see the babyface and babyface corner trying to keep the heel from getting out in the heel corner. It's okay, whatever. But yeah, it was a fun match. I don't like it as much as other people. I see 3 3/4, and I think it's 3 1/2-ish. It made my recommended match list at whatever. But yeah, it just it was very good. And at the end, Raquel was they just made the whole thing about Raquel killing people. So and she accomplished that. So that was the point of this whole thing. She wins the match, and then by a huge chokeslam single arm power bomb on Shotzi after she had already thrown Ember off of the horizontal ramp onto one of those posts that's out there. So they win, and Raquel Dakota jumps into Raquel's arms thank you for carrying me. It made me think of Shaq and Kobe. And the only thing I didn't like about the finish in the post match was that I was halfway expecting, once they got up there, for Raquel to lift up that heavy-ass trophy with one arm and then the other arm hold Dakota up again. That's the only thing that was missing. They are comically pushing this woman as the strongest woman in the world. So they may as well go over the top with it because I love it so much. But yeah, what do you think of it?
Yeah, I gave it 3 3/4. I thought they did a lot of shit, but I'm a fan of doing a lot of shit. Mm-hmm. Of course, there were sloppy sections, but yeah, I'm not going to dock them too much on that. I thought they wanted to send a message. They were on first ever women's Dusty Cup final. So we kind of all saw this coming. We talked about it being an accolade for Raquel before she presumably gets the nod to go at EO next. I don't know what happens with Dakota, but yeah, we know where this is going. I've seen this movie before. Yeah. They actually mentioned on last week's show that the winner is going to get a title shot. They didn't say when, but hopefully it will be after Shayna and Nia have transitions the belts to another tag team, because I don't want to see Nia back in NXT. No, thank you. No. NXT legend. You know, and then Shayna Baszler, longest reigning, champion.
Oh, no. Shayna, I welcome Shayna back with open arms. Nia, nah.
It's a package deal, a duo.
It's not
team.
Transition the belts.
She got to bring some of that my hold to NXT.
Oh my god. Yeah. So next match after that, North American title match: Johnny Gargano versus Kushida. Holy hell, I love this match. Oh my gosh, this match is a match that while watching, I thought to myself, I was waiting for the shoe to drop. Like, they did the story, they told you the story of how they got, the way away from the ring, and so Johnny actually had to wrestle. As they're walking backstage towards the entrance, Loomis, the first thing Loomis ever done well or good in fucking NXT, he chloroforms Austin Theory and drags his ass off screen. And as they go and do the entrance,
kidnapped out here,
right? And then they go and do the entrance. Well, that's Loomis's thing, kidnapping people. Lucky your boy Theory's lucky he's not in a trunk somewhere. Anyway, as they get to the ramp, Johnny sticks out to do his high five hand thing with Theory. He looks around. Where is he? Indy and Candice are off to go find the carcass, the dead body. So, I like that touch of, they explain why his heaters aren't there to cheat for him. So then they proceed to wrestle, and it's just all this excellent wrestling and transitioning and limb work on the arm and trying to work, and both of them are working over the arm. And Johnny had one of his all-time segments last show, from a comedy perspective, doing this thing where they had a fight backstage where Gargano threw the first punch, and then Kushida whooped his ass, and they had to pull people off of Kushida after he had singled out his arm. So he shows up last week in a wheelchair with a sling on his arm. So Theory ends up lifting Johnny, like holding him up, like Superman holding up Lois Lane, walking him to the stairs out the wheelchair, put him on the top turnbuckle, going back down, getting the wheelchair, put the wheelchair over the top rope, and then lifting Johnny, putting him back in there, and then
wow,
and then commentary oh my god, Wade Barrett. I almost called him Bad News Barrett. Wade Barrett points out this this is reference pain from the arm, that he broke his arm, so a reference to his body, that he's in a wheelchair. And shit was, and he didn't laugh. And so, but anyway, he cuts in this whole thing saying that, I broke my arm in 4 places. I'm in such pain. They put up an X-ray. And keep in mind, he has on his left arm or whatever else, the sling on his left arm, and then the X-ray, which is clearly fake, says right arm on it or whatever else. Regal comes down, says, "Get the fuck out of here." Kushida has a match with Theory. If you don't want to defend your title at TakeOver, you can choose to either relinquish the title or let Theory defend it for you. He says, fine, I'll wrestle Kushida here. So he is selling the arm to an extent, but overselling because he's a chicken shit heel. So so this match is just working over his arm left and right. So, and Johnny's trying to escape, and Johnny's left-handed. I'm gonna say left arm to Jesus. So Johnny has to do all this different stuff with his right arm to strike and to hold and everything. It was just like really cool stuff. And then all of a sudden, like the last third, last like 40% of the match, then you get like the big stuff where they get out, where and it built like similar to a New Japan main event. And to be honest with you, like I wasn't expecting it to build like that, and I was always at parts of this match like waiting for the way to come and run in or whatever else. So that was in the back of my mind, this match. And then it reached a point when they started to really go, and I was like, they're not coming. And I just sat back and enjoyed it, and they just went nuts. It was a fantastic match. This was Johnny's best match since like I want to say since the Adam Cole stuff from the summer 2019.
I was going to say, this finally feels like he may have found out how to, or got an opportunity to do like a big match as a heel to where it felt like to the standard of his previous, like his well-known big matches.
Well, I would caveat that by saying I agree with you as far as if you want to throw in the qualifier of no crowd. I thought he struggled with no crowd. His match would just be very good, or he'd have like 4-star matches, but he wasn't having like the, like the stuff versus like Aleister Black at the first War Games, or the stuff with like Ricochet at Phoenix. He wasn't having none of those as a heel yet. This is his first one that's on that that's of that ilk where he's like, yeah, we back. I didn't know if he could still do this. I thought this was maybe a thing where like the injuries have taken his toll, but he was in there with the right opponent for him.
Yeah, Kushida wrestling in jeans, so we got to add Kushida to the Survivor Series jeans team.
Who else on that team?
The British Bulldog in 1999, Lex Luger wrestling in jeans, Diamond Dallas Page in the jeans. Trying to think. If there's anybody else I think of in the jeans, I will go ahead and mention them. I really liked the match too. I liked it a whole lot, I think, until commentary got in the way. And then like seeing how the finish played out. Because like Kushida destroyed this nigga's arms. Like, and when they're pushing it, like, this is a technical classic. This is a technical masterpiece. This is brilliance. Like, and it starts like thinking, okay, so you killed this man's arms, and he immediately stood up and then did the DDT on the outside, then on the inside, while his arms were destroyed. So it made me think about something I didn't necessarily even want to think about or whatever. And I was like, ugh. Well, I'm like, all right, whatever. But I thought the wrestling match was great, though. Like, but the I didn't like the finish.
Gotcha. Yeah, this was just a match that like I had been waiting for a long time, and to be quite honest, given the circumstances, this is probably as good as I could have imagined it being. Like, those two wrestling really long, wrestling super technical, ground-based stuff at the very first half of this match, working over body parts, and then doing their thing. With no crowd, I thought this is a match that was like, if it had been in front of a crowd, this would have went off even better, especially like that last half. Like, that back half was tailor-made for a takeover crowd to lose their shit to. I want to see them wrestle again. Like, I mean, he beat him clean and fair and square and clean as a sheet or whatever else, but I want to see them wrestle again eventually somewhere down the line. I don't know when or where, but like, it's just they paired together as well as I thought they could have. They really did. The next match is the Miss Dusty Cup final. MSK. I don't know what MSK stands for. Do you know what it stands for yet? I never figured it out.
I heard on commentary, must see kids.
Okay, MSK versus Grizzled Young Veterans. During the beginning of the match, or actually before the match, when Gibson said that they were wearing green... Sorry?
Zach Gibson was fucking hilarious. Like,
yes.
I ought to yelled out loud laughing.
Bruh, he did this every single pre-match, every single entrance to this tournament. Like, you give him the mic for 60 seconds, just let him just be an asshole. He's fantastic at it. So I think he said some lines of they were wearing green pajamas, which is, you look at Wesley's stuff and it's like it looks like some draws, but it looks like whatever.
That man out here boxing, that man fighting in that Hector Macho Camacho. Here, where it ain't no split in the middle, it's just the pant. Right. He either has to. I think he needs to. He has one tape fist. He needs to have both tape fists if he's going to wear that gear because he looks like a boxer training. He really does. He looks like he's in a training camp somewhere. But anyway, great match. They pulled out all the stops for this. I don't think there was much pathos in the match, and they tried to make some up by saying that they had a sob story and then talked about Wesley having a death in the family recently, but they pulled that out of thin air to try to get that. Ultimately, this match was there to be the the indie tag teams classic special match or whatever else, and I don't think it necessarily achieved that. This was not some match of the year contender or whatever else, but it was a great match nonetheless. I gave it 4.25. I can see the case for 4.5. I gave it 4.25 as well.
Yeah.
I thought, as I mentioned, I think the white guy in MSK is kind of a jag.
I think he's better than the Jag, but not much better. I think he's flatly good.
Yeah. I think it would be very interesting if Wesley, if I have his name right, if he wrestled on the other show, he'd be getting dismissed as any type of flipper, high flyer, no rhyme or reason wrestler. So I think his reception is going to be interesting to watch the more he goes. I love it.
Wait, say that again?
If he wrestled on the other show on Wednesday.
If he was on AEW, what do you think would be the criticism?
I think he would be getting hand wave as a nonsensical flip wrestler.
Wesley?
Yes.
I would strongly disagree with that. I watched this. I watched this whole tournament and thought, he's damn good. Damn good. Maybe even great. And I thought that his tag partner is also good, and I thought that, he's clearly the quote-unquote star of it, but as far as their talking ability, I need to know more. But, they gave him this opening push to start off, so they're off to a good start.
Yeah, I like Grizzled Young Vets in this match a lot. Yeah. I thought they had just lots of sit moves, their Doomsday Device dive through the ropes thing.
Oh yeah, that's what they did to Tyler Bate to knock him out of that first takeover match, UK takeover match. Remember that whole match setup was Tyler Bate is fucking incredible. We must murder him, take him out of the match, and then beat Trent Seven. That. Yeah. When they did that same spot, that's the first thing I thought. It was they took out Wesley the same way they took out Tyler Bate. They know who the alpha is.
They oddly this kind of reminded me of Ricochet versus Adam Cole, to where there's a bunch of impressive shit going on, but there's clearly somebody directing traffic or whatever, and I think Gibson was directing the traffic a lot.
Yeah. When in the main event of last week's takeover or NXT, it was Thatcher and Ciampa versus Grizzled Young Vets. So I just assumed that it was going to be Thatcher and Ciampa, and then when Grizzled Young Vets won, I was quite frankly, for the position of the card, where you imagine this match is going to be, that's for the best that you have Grizzled Young Veterans in there, especially given their history on UK takeovers, and they can have that indie-rific match as opposed to getting basically grounded and grinded up by Ciampa and Thatcher. So I thought that was for the best, and it gave Grizzled Young Veterans something by getting to another final. in the tag team in the Dusty Cup. So, but MSK is off to the races. I'm glad they won because now get a title shot against Oni and Lorcan. I mean Oni and Birch. So that should be a good ass match. So whenever they do it, can't wait.
Yeah. So I mean, they good job for just going with somebody and not fucking them over and fucking them around, because sometimes they like to get cute, and I think they just picked the team was like, yo, we're gonna give y'all all the chance. We're gonna put y'all in there with Swerve the first match. We're gonna go ahead and push y'all in here. Who did they wrestle in the second round?
Legado del Fantasma, I believe.
No, 4 great workers.
Yeah, they had a good they had a good ass match with them. I think I gave it 3 3/4.
So yeah, good on them for a season opportunity.
Yeah. And then you think about it, okay, so unless I'm mistaken, if we go back in time, last year it was the Broserweights that won it. The year before it was Blackachet that won it. They had a year off in 2018. You remember who won in 2017?
No.
Okay, well the first winners.
Maybe AOP.
Sorry.
Maybe AOP.
I think so. So they may have skipped 2 years. So they may have not done one in 17. No, I'm sorry. They may have not done one in 2018. 17 would have been AOP. 2000. Wait, was Finn Balor on or no? 2016 is when they did. No, it was 2015 when they did the first one because we were at the final for that. Yeah. That was the main event with the Iron Woman match. So the first one, so they skipped some years in this, and I'm blanking on the first few winners after Finn Balor and Samoa Joe, but it seems that the majority of the tag teams that have won this have been the put together 2 stars and have them win the thing, and then they get a title shot down the line or whatever else. But so it was cool to see that actual. I don't want to do the actual tag team because who gives a shit, but the team that is put together and their main thing is to be a tag team, and if they do split up, it will be down the line as opposed to this is you doing utility role type of thing. So I thought it was cool that they won it and they won it on a big stage.
I know which one I'm pushing.
Well, I think they know which one they're pushing too. You saw how they set those hot tags. It was also impressive because I think he should hurt his back on that first flip dive over the top rope. He landed around his tailbone. They didn't catch him perfectly, and he immediately clutched his back. And then he was selling at times when you wouldn't necessarily be selling a bad back. I think he legitimately fucked his stuff up in the middle of that match. His soldiers through, and as a person with back problems, a person that's bruised their tailbone before, that shit's hard to do. So shouts out to Wesley. So then, if I remember correctly, is when you get a music video from Cameron Grimes, starring your boy Josiah Russell Rapp.
Speaking of that, Josiah's intro for this show
Raw
is incredible.
Yes, that was excellent. Check it out. I don't know if it's up on YouTube or whatever. It should be. Along with everything,
I think that might be his best, some of his best work that he's contributed. I
agree. Okay, so last week they brought back Cameron Grimes, and Cameron Grimes' angle now is that after Loomis and Kushida whooped his ass for that losing stretch, he went home to heal up and do rehab on his torn MCL or bruised MCL or whatever it was, and he decided to use the spend time by gaming. So he started gaming. So he went to GameStop, and he liked GameStop. So he decided to start buying stock of GameStop, and the price went through the roof. So now he's filthy, stinking, fucking rich right now. That's his storyline. He's a lucky ass tech bro. He basically won the lotto. He's basically like stock market / tech Beverly Hillbillies. He may as well have shot the ground and struck oil. That's basically what he did. That's so So he's basically like super rich. He's talking like he's Flair now. He pulled up in the Lamborghini on the show the other day. So they played this music video, and the hook is him saying, "We're going to the all this money. I'm going to the moon." Yeah.
I heard the song. I don't know. The video it wasn't as funny as
I fucking howled.
It felt so
I fucking
heavy-handed.
howled. It was. That's the part that made me howl at it, was the fact is like, you had to have seen this, bruh. He did the full Flair. He showed up in the Lamborghini the other day. He starts handing people money out of his pocket. People just working the door. People on the ring crew as he's walking up. So then he has wads of money. He's throwing it around. He rips off his jacket and starts hooting and hollering and stomping in the middle of the ring and everything. He went full Flair. Like, not full Flair because he's not nearly as good as Flair, but like, the whole thing was to be basically like Flair or whatever else. And then they did this video. I thought it was just fucking, because like the lyrics were actually like good for the storyline. So I thought the shit was funny because he's a cornball. But so who knows what the hell? Obviously he's gonna go broke. He's gonna lose all his money once the shit drops. Like that's the part that's funny because he up now, so he's studying and talking like mad shit, but he finna be down bad any day now.
I'll be broke.
Yes.
If you're Triple H, you have to have like Ted DiBiase like get on the line or do like a segment or something. Like you have to have like $1 Million Man and be like, "Hey man, let me show you how to manage your money" or something like that. And he blows $1 Million Man off or some shit like that.
I think he actually mentioned money. I think Cameron Grimes actually mentioned the $1 Million Man last week. I think he did, or maybe someone on commentary did. But like, so that might be around the corner. But I don't know what the situation is with WWE and DiBiase right now. Their situation is always weird. Yeah. Like, if you ask me, I imagine DiBiase might show up on AEW and the WWE right now.
Like, because I think with DiBiase, like you pull in IRS too, and then you tell him like, "This is my friend Erwin, and he can show you how to make sure you don't pay any taxes or whatever."
So AEW gets Virgil, and WWE gets DiBiase. They split that up again, huh? Oh man. Look, man. Quite frankly, this has nothing to do with him, but it does. But it's unfair to him, but I don't care. Look, bro, I don't want IRS nowhere near the product. He's done enough to the product and with his fucking offspring. No, thank you.
Goddamn.
No, thank you. Look, his contract, like, nothing he can do can offset the damage he's done to this business. There's nothing. So, anyway, we can move on to the NXT Women's Title match, triple threat match, Io Shirai versus Toni Storm versus Mercedes Martinez, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. I know the spot with the table, whatever they had planned with the shit, and that's going to be on Botchamania. Like Tony touched that fucking thing with the softest of touches, and that thing just collapsed underneath it. So who knows what the hell they were playing? But ultimately, before they even got to that part, and I thought they did an okay job improvising for trying to figure it out after that. Ultimately, this match seems so carbon copy to the title match that Io won the belt from In Your House. It was just like, she dove off the top of the roof of the house. She jumped off the top of the posting. People are wrestling for the pinfall at the bottom. There's someone has a pinfall. She ends up hitting from out of nowhere moonsault to win the match. Like it was too similar to the match they did before, and it wasn't as good. This match I just gave I probably give like 3.5, maybe 3.25. I was not in love with this match.
I was not particularly impressed in this match.
Yeah.
Rare that you say this by Io, but it's like, man, this was like kind of boring. I'm not gonna knock for the table deal, because that's like it's a function of them making like flimsy ass tables for people to bump through. But
right,
they clearly like I feel like we're looking down the road with this, and this match just kind of it's like a trap game, damn near. And it's like, you know, Toni Storm. I'm not really into the heel character really at all. Not really into her babyface character either, to really say that. But I do like Mercedes. But
the thing for me is, if any of those, if you had Io versus Toni Storm, which I've seen a few times, or you had Io versus Mercedes Martinez, or if you had Mercedes Martinez versus Toni Storm in singles matches, you would expect all three of those matches to be better than the match we got here.
Yeah.
You absolutely expect it for that. So from that perspective, you have to say it's a disappointment. And like, it wasn't very good. It was just flatly good.
Yeah. You know, 3.5, whatever.
Yeah. It might be 3.5. It might be 3.5.
Look, time ticking. You know, they want to give that lady in the black leather pants the belt really bad right now. So, Io, enjoy your last days.
Yeah. Look, if you were to ask me a takeover match, Raquel Gonzalez versus Io Shirai, I imagine it'd be a lot better than this match too. So, like, I don't know what to, like. And then it makes me think. Now I'm thinking about it.
Wrestled her a zillion times on house shows.
The last takeover, the last UK takeover, right, was Kaylee Ray versus Piper Niven versus Toni Storm, right?
Yes.
Like, maybe the thing is just like, don't put Toni Storm's not good in triple threats. That might be a thing.
Hey,
not great in triple threats should be the word probably.
There is a great philosopher when it comes to Toni Storm. By the name of Kaylee Ray. She once said, "No more Toni Storm."
Yeah, so then we end up getting the signing of Eli Drake. Is now going by the name LA Knight, which is funny because I talked to Rich before we started recording, and he had said that Eli Drake had got signed, and then I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And then like went, you know, a couple minutes go by, and I was like, "Oh, by the way, who was that LA Knight dude that was on this?" Oh, that was Eli Drake. He's like, "Bro, I've seen Eli Drake wrestle like 3 or 4 times before. I've heard him cut promos. I know he's a good promo. I not for a second recognize that man. So, I don't know this is gonna sign. Like, I don't know."
LA Knight, aka Crack, you know, because that man wants to be White Rock. Yeah, I've always liked his promos.
Yeah.
You know, the wrestling, right? But I mean, you know, WWE's in a signing frenzy right now. Ty Valkyrie's on her way in. Harlem Bravado from Evolve, and if they're signing Harlem Bravado, like they're signing any motherfucker, right?
I don't think I've ever seen that person. So
he was on the Indies for a really long time for a reason.
All right, they didn't sign JD Drake, did they?
They should.
Well, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah, like, look, I wouldn't be shocked. Like, JD Drake should be paying attention to his phone because it's about his time. If they signed everybody, why not me?
Well, he kind of does have to, like, you know, come to Tampa and, like, in this bomb not depleted WrestleMania indie week, he kind of has to, you know,
clean up.
Yes, that man's gonna be eating lovely on the indies. Can you come in? Nah, bro. Like, I'm already booked for like 8 shows. Can you do a 9th?
Look, I got a spot for him right now. Like, you know, Cameron Grimes came in all that money. He gonna need somebody to watch his back. You know.
Oh God.
Go ahead and put JD Drake with him.
Yeah. So, So then we end up getting to the main event: Finn Balor versus Pete Dunne. Oh man, I gotta tell you, like, Pete Dunne's awesome. We've always known he was awesome. We've always known he could do this, and to see him have one of those matches with Finn Balor, it was great to watch. I had this in the high 4s. I think for me, I think this kind of, you look at what Finn Balor has done at his best with guys in this run, and it's like, they need to serve him up like that Never division. All those tough technical white guys. He needs to wrestle them every fucking takeover because all of those, he hits them out the park with them dudes. All of them.
I was just gonna say, match him up with someone of similar stature.
That never division. Nah, if you gonna say it, tough technical white guys. That's nah. Call it what it is.
You know, I like him to fight Swerve too. Swerve can go ahead and get in that too. So
yeah. If you want to call it the never division, yeah, we can throw Swerve and Kushida in there because that's all that is.
Yeah. They did it again on this one. The commentary blasting the technical masterpiece over and over again, and then the finger breaking, and then instant healing stuff I didn't want to think about that they made me think about. But they beat the fuck out of each other. Lots of, I think, cool psychology in the beginning, especially with Pete Dunne when he does the flip, but the flip is like not as high as it normally is because he was working on the knee.
Yeah, he crashed and burned. Like, yep. I mean,
so I like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's also, typical wrestling psychology of Finn Balor, started working over his leg, and his first move was stomping on the foot, and then, all of a sudden, work on the ankle, then work on the knee, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, his whole leg is just done. It's like, okay, whatever. Like
Balor one time got his finger broken and then instantly punched him in the face with the same hand.
Yep.
I was like,
yep.
These are things I would
no. Then better yet, at the end, after he does the double foot stomp, he lands the double foot stomp and catches, to stop himself, he also sticks his hands out. So, it was similar to the, you have bruised ribs, you hit a splash and you grab the ribs. He did that with his hands. So it's like, oh, my hands, and then covered. And then at the end of the match, he does the finger guns except with his fingers. And it's like, bitch, get out of here. You just lifted this grown ass man up and down and dropped him on his head with a fucking 1619. Don't tell me you don't have the grip strength now or the dexterity to do this shit. Stop it.
Yeah.
It was a great match, but it made me laugh.
Great match. I blame commentary for making me think about these things I would normally let slide, won't even say anything about, but commentary, once they put it in your head, I'm just like, oh, well, what part of the technical mastery is this?
Yeah. It's like, yeah, technically it's great, but how about story wise and psychology wise, those are you're messing up the technical work that's being done. I love the match. It felt similar to the Gargano match where it just about and early in the match it was like Pete Dunne was just eating his ass up, just oh, you got the bad jaw, I'm gonna get you up against the ropes and I'm gonna do the UFC stuff against the cage when people are in a clinch, and I'm just gonna drop my shoulder right into your jaw. He had a headlock on that was it was like the difference when you watch as you say, when they do the cravat in the main roster, and then you watch them do a real cravat, snug, and these don't even the same moves. He slapped on the head scissors, and then he hooked his leg. Dunn hooked his leg so tight and at such an angle that it looked different than a regular headlock, which is that's ridiculous, but it just looked that good. Hand worked on his bad shoulder. It was just a clinic that Dunn put on. It really was. And the counters and the stuff other stuff this was a match. It felt like this was their second or third match. It was just. Mm-hmm. It was very sharp, and it wasn't nearly as physical as and it's a good thing because it wasn't nearly as physical as that O'Reilly match from October. So to have this level match is close to that level, close to it, but not be not have someone be out for months and shit that's Finn Balor's getting better. 38 getting better.
Man got to learn to develop.
Yeah.
The man's in a wrestling school.
Well, that man. Yeah. But yeah. So after that, go celebrate. Does the mangled finger guns. Out comes Oni and Birch, and they beat him down, put him back into the ring. Dunn is recovered. All three of them are Dunn. Just gets on top of Balor's about to whoop him, and then all of a sudden, Undisputed makes a save. It's no fish this time. It's just O'Reilly and Roddy and Cole. They make the save. They clear NXT UK out the ring. And O'Reilly's first person to help Balor to his feet and says, look, man, damn, you're good, respect, and you're a great champion. And they go to stand up together, very similar to them standing together a couple weeks ago when they both made save for each other against the NXT UK again. And the next thing you know, Adam Cole super kicks Finn Balor, and Roddy and O'Reilly are shocked, and then he super kicks O'Reilly, and Roddy's shocked, and he doesn't know what to do, and then Adam Cole says, come with me, Roddy, and Roddy's sitting there like, I don't know what the fuck you just did, what's going on. I'm just like, so Adam Cole was technically a babyface for God knows like how short of a time, and he's going right back to being a heel.
Man, all I heard was like Pat McAfee was right. Like all I heard was all this McAfee's celebrating, and I don't know, man. Like aside from the fact of like, would he have done this if like Finn wasn't getting his ass whooped? Whatever, I'll throw that out. They broke up Undisputed Era in NXT. So they are all dead on arrival, presumably, if they go to the main roster.
They're not going to the main roster. Bro, they showed them in 2016.
Bro. Okay, we've established that.
Are you saying that like maybe it's okay, Adam Cole's going to the main roster. We need a way to get him out of here without having to bringing up the rest of Undisputed, and that's how they do it. Maybe, but I don't see. I don't know.
I don't even see that. It's like, all right, they're like, I don't think any of them are going to the main roster, and like everything I'm hearing is they got a year left to figure it out with Adam Cole because it's going to be contract time for him. And if this is a final program, put your buddy over and make him a star. And see how that goes if he wants to resign. I'm hearing like, his Twitch stuff is a really big deal to him, and we know how WWE feels about that Twitch stuff. They don't fuck with it. I don't know, man. It kind of like I saw it and I'm like, okay, yeah, we'll get some good Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole matches. I know they had that feud they can just import in from PWG as well as Ring of Honor, and they can do it here now. But then I started thinking about like the rest of the roster, like Undisputed, they're broken up now, but all those dudes are still like in the way for like the next guys that can't break through, like a Swerve, like Kushida, who he's been in WWE for 2 years before we can get a match like this out of him. I don't know. Maybe I'm worried about the wrong things because ultimately none of this shit matters because they have like 24 people getting signed and they don't care about inflation or career trajectories or years. It's just like having this huge war chest. That's what it seems like. I don't know. The turn looked goofy too. Like, I'm like, well, why'd you turn on him? Like
that's my point. Like, I'm not concerned. Like, the stuff about the where does this mean for the NXT roster as far as splitting it up, and then all of a sudden, like, yeah, all right, we have Adam Cole and whatever else, and Kyle O'Reilly on one side, and Finn Balor here, and Ciampa and Gargano and all that stuff. Like, we've talked about that ad nauseum. The thing for me, the reason why I didn't like it was because like you just fuck. After he's been a heel since day one. He showed up in August 2016 as a heel. He turned babyface. He never officially turned babyface. We just cheered for him over the summer.
See, that should be dumb. Like
so he was a heel from all right. He was a heel August 19, August 20. He was a heel for, 17, 18, 19, 20. He was a heel for 4 years.
Long time, man.
Or did he show up in 2017? I'm sorry. 18, 19, 20. So he was a heel for 3 years. He turned babyface for 6 months, and he's right back to being a heel. Like, this is like the Kevin Owens shit.
Yeah.
It's like,
I think
like,
people
whatever,
are hyped
man.
up.
Whatever.
I think they want their next big personal feud. They're saying this is going to be the new Gargano Ciampa.
Like, that's cool. That's cool. Or whatever else, but I would rather they had said that for TV than just like after having that show that they had, and then like with that kind of wrestling, and then like, oh, let's end it with an angle. It's like, all right, well, whatever. Like, whatever.
It felt like people were very excited about this. Like, I think it was just a shock, but like when you start thinking about it, it's like, well, why did he do that? Like
that. I didn't even get into the that part, but like if we want to go into the why he do that, it'd be like, okay, so let me get this right. Last summer, y'all had that hour-long, you and Balor had an hour-long match with Ciampa and Gargano, Iron Man match, and went to a draw. The very next week, y'all had a match. Balor beat you. They went backstage to show the whole like locker room congratulating Finn Balor, Triple H, Shawn Michaels backstage, and then after that, y'all too sweet at each other. You was like, oh yeah, remember we got Bullet Club members too. Our former Bullet Club members too. And then, like, y'all start doing this with O'Reilly and Balor, and they have respect for each other, and Pete Dunne and McAfee Gooner or you're just, evil or whatever else. So, like, they're gaining respect for each other. And then next thing you know, like, Adam, they started making saves for Finn Balor. And then y'all made a save for him here. And then after you made the save for him, then you kick him in the face. It's like, so you come out the title again? Like, you kicked O'Reilly because obviously it doesn't matter. It's like y'all did all this shit for like the last like half a year, saying that like Finn Balor's gonna end up potentially being in Undisputed Era or something, or teasing that stuff, and then immediately it's like, in fact, we're just gonna just break up Undisputed instead.
Like,
wow,
if you break up,
wow,
like,
hold on,
you have to put the belt back on Cole again.
I don't care. Like, while I don't think they're gonna do that. I don't think they are, but. And then while you break up Undisputed Era, who knows where the fuck Bobby Fish is at?
Well, that man could be fighting child sex traffickers.
I didn't know he was QAnon. I had no idea.
Yeah,
but if that's the case, then I don't see how Drake was able to do all these fucking to ref all these matches last night, because he was there. They didn't discuss this at the meeting.
Yeah, I think.
Or on Facebook.
Yeah, I think they had to have Drake come in, but they still had to have a representative from the group, whatever was being handled. And Drake was like, why don't you go ahead and represent us this time, brother?
Okay.
So I don't know. I feel like and Finn hasn't done a job really for anyone, like too recently or too often since he's been in NXT. I think you got to go, like, if you're going with Cole and O'Reilly, eventually the title's got to go into that program, and you got to see about building Kyle O'Reilly up to win the belt from Cole. Maybe. I don't know. I think maybe we get some tag. We obviously get some TV on what side is Fish and Strong on. It'll probably just be the 3-person Undisputed Era. It'll be O'Reilly and Balor form some kind of friendship to take down those guys. One will take on Roddy, the other will take on Cole. They'll probably swap partners. Or not swap. I mean like wrestling mates. Like it'll like one time it'll be like O'Reilly and Strong, and then it'll be O'Reilly versus Cole's what I mean. I don't mean like swap partners like they swanging, but yeah.
But then eventually it'll get back to O'Reilly and Balor or whatever else down the line. But like that's probably like some 9 months down the road shit or whatever. And that's fine. But just the idea of this dude, like y'all. This dude was just a babyface for 6 months after being a heel for 3 years, and you're going right back to him being a heel. Like, is it just like, nah? We must.
They don't have.
We have no plans for you unless you turn heel.
Yeah, they get that man that Bret Hart list, so they were like, hey, if you're a babyface, this is who you get to wrestle. If you're a heel, this is who you get to wrestle.
I guess. So yeah. Great show otherwise. Like a lot of great wrestling on the show. Not one bad match at all, but just things that leave you question. And the thing is, like, the tag team tournament like helped them get here, and like the tag team tournaments were actually fun and whatever else, but it's like now they have to go back to the real world and like actually do regular television as opposed to just like autopilot booking. So
right,
we'll see where this goes. Like they have their hot little angle that they like to do. That they like I'm so kind of like every fucking wrestling promotion has a hot little angle that they like to do, but they have their hot angle and they're gonna go with it. And we'll see where it goes. But I don't know. I just don't like the idea of Cole being a heel for so fucking long. You turn babyface and then you turn right back fuck heel. It's like, so what was the point of ever turning heel? Just to do this stupid fucking thing with Pat McAfee? Thanks.
Yeah, that was it.
Like maybe the idea was they were going to do that, and then like eventually, like once McAfee left, like it was going to be like NXT UK plus Oni, and it would have been like Buddy that's hurt that dropped Gargano on his neck.
Luke Menzies.
Yeah, maybe it would have been Luke Menzies in this group, or it would have been a foursome. It would have been a foursome.
Wow. Yeah,
but. Whatever. I guess let's get to AEW.
Yeah, man. So they had a show. It looks like February 10th. It was a pretty good show. Up and down. A lot of stuff I liked with the inner circle angle. I thought the main event was insane.
Excellent.
But we opened up with Darby Allin and Joey Janela. They had a match for the TNT title. Only went about 10 minutes, and it was like, I thought they were going to do some crazy, wild, devastating match, and then what we got was the Darby Allin WCW World or WCW Saturday Night title defense against Joey Janela. I thought this was pretty good. Jim Ross was surprisingly on his best behavior. Seemed like he actually sounded invested in the wrestlers in the ring, which was nuts, seeing that one of them was Janela.
Well, the thing was, he was like, he probably was like, oh, they're going to do their bullshit. And then they actually wrestled for real. And they were like, and he got into it, he's like, because, Ross still likes technical class, or not technical, like classic pro wrestling in the ring. So, when they went out there and had a good ass wrestling match, he was like, I'm into it. I probably, by the sounds of it, I think I like this more than you. I end up, I close to 4 on this.
I
really like this match. You gave it what?
I gave it 3.5.
I have it at 3 3/4 to 4. I really like this match. Maybe it's because I haven't seen Janela in so long. I don't know.
There was one thing that made me go oh shit, and it might have been the coffin drop because he didn't get the normal air on it, so it looked kind of more devastating for some reason.
Yes,
I don't know.
It was like the EO Muda moonsault where it's there's no arc. It's just devastation.
Right. So after that, we got Jon Moxley in a promo. He plugged his match with Kenta, and he had the IWGP United States title with him. And he said he never said it would be on New Japan World, though. They started explaining, who Kenta was for the idiots who were you bring this guy, you didn't even explain who he was, blah, 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 and I'm just like, yo, we're smart wrestling fans. It's what fucking Kenta.
Wait, what happened?
It's just dummies saying dumb things about the Kenta angle as far as you got this guy coming out. Why does a casual fan give a fuck about this person? I'm it's a surprise.
So wait.
It's just I'm did you know who the fucking Shield were when they jumped out?
That's what I was saying. It's
fucking Ryback. Did you know who Adam Cole was when he came out on Drew McIntyre?
Raquel Gonzalez when she attacked Tegan Knox in Portland.
Like, come on, man,
like,
stop this.
Like, somebody comes out, and yes, sometimes it is frustrating when it's like someone that like has nothing to do with an angle, and they like screw over babyface. You're just like, oh, so this is your misdirection to get this person away from that angle that you're doing and giving us a fuck finish. But like in general, the idea is someone comes out. Hopefully, you recognize them. You don't want to be as like, you know, who are you thing like the Smash Brothers / Dark Order a couple years ago, or
the Butcher and the Blade,
right? But the whole idea is it's supposed to be some people are supposed to know who they are. You don't know who they are. They're in your face right now. So hopefully, by either immediately following or by the next show, you get introduced or you get an interview from that person, and they fill in those gaps. They answer the questions that you reasonably want answered, and then you go from there. Isn't that how that's how introduction pro wrestling have kind of worked like since we've been alive in our lifetimes, right? Good ones anyway. Like I'm not saying like sometimes they'll mess this up. They did the right thing here, so I don't see what the problem is. What I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Immediately, Excalibur began explaining who Kenta was. And also this man that has been on national television in America for years.
Yeah. We don't know who this guy is. Oh, he's only been in the #1 wrestling company for he was in there for 3 years. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Sammy Guevara then went into then Mox said he's going to dump Kenta on his head in the main event.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So then we got Sammy Guevara in the Inner Circles room, and he told everyone he needs a minute with MJF, and he told the cameraman to come in there with him.
This entrapment ass angle.
They all left. He told MJF he knows exactly what he's doing, and he's trying to take over the Inner Circle from Jericho. MJF then immediately went into projection mode. He denied it. He said, "Nah, man, you're trying to take over the Inner Circle."
Mind fucking.
He said, "Well, Cesgaz died, and I'm Jericho's new favorite." And then MJF said that Guevara's mad because he always had to play second fiddle to Jericho, and he wants to take over the Inner Circle. Guevara then told him that, no, you want to take over the Inner Circle, and then MJF said, "I'm glad you said that." And then he showed his phone with the idea that Sammy or MJF was going to play the tape for Jericho out of context. Guevara grabbed the phone and he threw it against the wall and punched MJF in the stomach. MJF feigns injury and came off for his match. I think he had his ribs taped like fucking ham. And the weird thing was we know the Inner Circle watches the show. Like they've all said they watched the show. So
yep.
I didn't get are you going to show him later? It would have been all right, does Jericho hear the tape from MJF first or see the show? Either way, gets corrected by the time he sees the show.
The thing for me was how was this a developing step? Because one, they already know they don't like each other, and they already know that they're on the rocks, and one of these people don't, or whatever else. So it's we already know that. So they're going to watch the show back and then see them argue, see MJF try to frame him, and also see MJF, him punch MJF, or whatever else. But while both of them knowing that everyone in Inner Circle will eventually watch this fucking show and see them acting like ridiculous people trying to frame each other. Because, Sammy brings in the camera to try to confront him to get a confession out of him almost. And then MJF's I'm about to get you out of context. It's y'all are trying to entrap each other, you goddamn cops. But everyone is going to see y'all trying to catch each other in a gotcha moment. So it's ultimately what's going to happen is they're going to look at it and be like, y'all both lame as hell, I need to relax. And then go back and it's going to be status quo. So what they do later on the show, it was okay, well then that shit don't even matter because they've escalated this beyond that, and this was really just an argument or whatever else, where it was this is beyond repair. Don't even worry about trying to figure out whose side who was on following this. There ain't no more sides now because some person's out of here. So while watching and me being concerned, they end up doing something better than what I thought they was going to go with it. So hats off to them, because I was what the fuck have they gotten themselves into?
So up next, we got Cody Rhodes and the newest member of the Nightmare family, Lee Johnson, against Peter Avalon and Cesar Bononi. And Lee Johnson got his first win in AEW after 29 long painful defeats. I've come on this show and championed Lee Johnson for months and months and months, saying this guy's solid. He's young. He's another guy you can put in that class. And I was very happy when he didn't suddenly turn dominant. He just caught a schoolboy on a lower guy, and he finally turned the page on it. And I saw someone make a joke that someone they booked this match with Lee Johnson, and then and they put Cesar Bononi in it to show the difference between the Nightmare Factory and the Performance Center. But I thought the match was solid. I was really happy when Lee Johnson won. I popped, and I was happy. And Lee ended up getting the graphic after the match.
Yeah, he had a post-match promo where he said, this is because of hard work and determination, and he thanked Arn Anderson and Cody and also Dustin, and then QT Marshall's directly behind him. He didn't even mention him at all, and I was like, he might be my new favorite wrestler.
So I didn't notice this at first until people started pointing it out. Pictures started circulating.
I noticed it.
Brandy.
I noticed it immediately, and I was like, "Oh, this is great! This is great!"
Yeah. So I think this is the beginning of an angle there. I don't know where it goes, but maybe we see QT and Lee Johnson run it at some point. And then Lee keeps going, on his journey. If you want Lee Johnson,
you want me to become a Lee Johnson fan, that's the way you do it. Oh, Lee Johnson from QT Marshall. Go, Lee, go. Go, Lee, go.
Yeah. So, good emotion to promo. I mean, I think he's 22. So, you're going to, the only part that was funny was all the... money white folks around him. But it was I found that part funny, but it was they were saving this poor Negro that was out there.
I didn't think of all that, but wow, that's wow.
That's the only thing that I saw that was
Well, he mentioned Brandy. Was that plausible deniability?
He did.
Was that supposed to be plausible deniability?
Yes. That's you gotta throw Brandy in there to throw all the scent. So, but I saw Lee Johnson get added to the Nightmare family, as well as Nick Comoroto, Aaron Solo, of course, the Gun Club, and I'm like, what do these people have in common? I don't understand this group at all. And then I come to find out it's not supposed to be a traditional stable. It's supposed to be kind of like an MMA gym. We all belong to the same. We train out of the Nightmare shit or whatever. So I actually kind of like that a little bit more, rather than making them this unit or whatever. They might team together. They might not.
I get that. The problem is they had that one match on a pay-per-view where they all basically wrestled for Cody, however long ago. So that kind of, I'm not saying it completely flies in the face of that, but if you were someone to not really want to buy into that, you could point that out. I will say I like the idea of people having fight camps in wrestling more than the traditional, we have just white meat baby faces here, and they're going to team together, and we don't really have much to really do with them teaming together. I would say if you're going to make it a fight camp, that eventually, every so often, some of them on Dark or wherever else will have to wrestle each other, because people in fight camps do fight each other every so often. So, if they're going to live to that, then they're going to have to wrestle each other.
Right. So the Bucks did a promo next. They were just backstage acting like goofs. Gallows and Anderson came up, and then true olds, they write about the total number of viewer ratings, not the demo. Then they tried to take credit for it, and then Nick got mad at them for coming out during the Battle Royal. They called them idiots. This led to the Bucks saying they want to defend. They kind of talked the Bucks into defending the titles next week. and they challenged Santana or Ortiz, who eliminated them from the match. And I'm gonna say the Bucks may be on upset alert next week. If you start thinking about it, really haven't really done like it would make a lot of sense to go ahead and, you know, based on where this inner circle thing is going, put those belts on Santana and Ortiz via, you know, the Bucks. Like some has with Gallows and Anderson. The Bucks actually challenged Gallows and Anderson. The AEW tag titles go to PNP.
And then you get Jericho versus
MJF to Jericho. MJF completes the turn on Jericho, gets the belts over to and keeps the belts on PNP, the rightful tag team of the inner circle. And Jericho's holding his ass. MJF's in charge. And it's like, you know, this is why you trusted me or whatever, something like that. I think a lot of people are like talking themselves into this. I could see it happening.
That would be awesome. I think that would be awesome. I think the timing and the logistics and how fast of a move that would be kind of because we are now at this point, what are we, 2 weeks away or 3 weeks away from
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Okay, 3 weeks. If we're 3 TVs away, you can get there. I think that's a lot in 3 weeks. And by AEW standards, that feels like 5 weeks worth of stuff. But you could do it, and it would help the card. But like either way,
also,
if they do it, they don't.
His first title shot ever.
Right. Whether they do it or not. I mean, and also, you know, the first match, Young Bucks did beat them.
Mm-hmm. Or they beat the Bucks.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
And then the Bucks beat them back in the street fight.
Right. So I forgot about. Yeah, I thought about their last match, not the fact that they did 2 matches. But they could do that. It could be a situation where, you know, MJF comes out there, ultimately ends up. It could be a situation where it could be interference in that match that causes, you know, them in the outs with Jericho or Sammy or whatever else, instead of them actually winning the belts. I don't know. But that, what you laid out would be cool. It would be. Mm-hmm. It would be.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if it happens. If not, we just get the Bucks versus MJF and Chris Jericho. So I trust the Bucks in pretty much any wrestling situation. So, I think the next thing that happened, Dasha was with Adam Page. This was pretty funny. He said that him and Page are not, or Page said that him and Matt Hardy are not becoming the tag team. Hardy showed up, talked about him winning, said both of those guys were special, and all this other gaslighting shit. And then Hardy wanted Adam Page to come drink with him, and then Page agreed to it. And as Page was leaving, he bumped into the Dark Order, and then they did like, you know, the big awkward thing, because this is the first time they've seen each other since he turned them down.
Post-breakup,
yeah.
Post-rejection,
you know,
not breakup, but post-rejection. Yeah.
You know, so they want him, you know. And,
they want him.
And the viewers, they want Paige to want the Dark Order, but it ain't happening. Matt Hardy is here, and he's trying to manipulate everything. And up next, we got Pac versus Ryan Nemeth, and Pac brutalized this fucking geek. Literally.
He ran that man up out the rucker. He got his ass out of there quick. How long do you think that match went?
The less said, the better. It was 4:17.
Yeah, I felt like that was under 5. Yep.
Yeah. They put over on commentary that Pac is one of the few people who has a singles win over Kenny in AEW, and they're starting to push Kenny not having lost in a very long time in singles.
He hasn't. When was the last time he lost in singles? Besides, like, has he lost in singles since like the Moxley match at Full Gear in 2019?
No, they're not even counting that.
Well, they can't count it because they said it's an unsanctioned match, so it's not sanctioned. But like, I get what you mean. Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, it might have been. Was it? No, Jericho
and Pac.
No, okay, yeah, Jericho beat him first, then Pac beat him after. Yeah, okay, yeah, all right. Yeah.
So they kind of pushed that like they teased like Kenny versus Pac, as well as like Kenny and the Good Brothers against Pac and Phoenix, and I think another guy I couldn't remember. But after that, Miro did a promo about how Orange Cassidy and Charles ruined the wedding. I could care less.
Who cares?
So then the Inner Circle came out without Guevara.
Am I misremembering this? I think one part that's actually noteworthy is like it seems like they're teasing that they're really going to go forward with Orange Cassidy and Miro match. Correct?
Oh yeah, that'll probably be awesome. But I think everything getting to that,
just bring me the match.
Painful.
Yeah, just bring me the match.
I wouldn't be shocked if they announced that match for Revolution. So the Inner Circle came out. Jericho was mad. Sammy wasn't there. MJF came out with his ribs taped and said Rivera punched him in the stomach, may have broken his ribs, threw his phone against the wall. Chris Jericho and MJF did face the Acclaim. The Acclaim did a video. I don't know if they played on Dynamite or not, but I saw it this week. They were dissing Jericho and MJF. It was pretty funny. MJF came out of the same wrestling school as the Acclaimed. Cut a promo saying, I was the one that opened the door for y'all, and I was way younger than y'all, and I'm a prodigy and all this other stuff. It was pretty funny. The Acclaim kind of wrestled the match as faces. Jericho. Have you noticed, James? Have you noticed what's going on with Chris Jericho?
He looks like he's losing weight. Am I mistaken on that?
Oh no, that's it. That's it. It looks like this man is getting trim. There's only there's only two things when you start getting trim. It's usually either you turning or you getting the belt. I don't think he's getting the belt.
Okay, so what I will say is, you would make light decisions if you got dropped on your head and it was because of yourself. You have no one to blame but yourself. You doing a movie you've done 1,000 times, and you land on your head. I think that will make you start reevaluating things. Like maybe I should drink less. Maybe I should, whatever. Maybe that's the case. We'll see. But physique wise, he did look better compared to recently.
I've delved like this latest phase of Jericho, like the babyface in training Jericho, old man Jericho. So he's about to break out a new version. So the finish game, there was a good near fall where Caster hit Jericho with the boombox, and you thought something might happen, but it didn't. We ended up getting the Judas effect on Caster, I believe, off the top rope, and that was I like this match, so I thought it was pretty fun. So I like the Acclaim. I know the Acclaim kind of get beat up in some circles, but every time I see them, I think they're fun. So
one thing is he had a lot of. There was one line he said where I forgot what the line was, but he basically said that, I think he said he would rather beat Jericho or something than get the diamond ring from MJF, and I was like, wait, what? He said something that was that was ridiculous. It sounded like, bro, you hustling backwards. I have to go through the text thread, whatever else to remember what he said, but he said something that was goofy.
So after the match, Sammy Guevara came out. Jericho asked him what was wrong, why he didn't come out, punched MJF. Guevara said calmly, he was on December 9th, if one more thing happens, he's done. One more thing did happen, and he's done. And then MJF was smiling on the other side through the whole time. Sammy Guevara quits the Inner Circle. End of an era. You think about that. This group has lived the entire time since AEW's debuted, through the honeymoon period, through the which I would say is officially over now with the Inner Circle breaking up here. The start of the pandemic, the whole summer, Inner Circle has been a constant. With Sammy breaking up, I immediately was whoa. And then I got hyped up because I've been driving the Sammy train from day one. Seemingly he's going to turn babyface here. He later walked out the building. He said, "I'm over this. I just need some time away from this place." And they showed like something above him. And he walked out the babyface tunnel, by the way, which was done on purpose.
Oh, I've never even paid attention to the heel or babyface tunnel thing for AEW. I've never paid attention to that. Like, which side is the babyface tunnel? So I can remember.
The babyface tunnel is on the right, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. For when we're looking at the cameras, or when we're looking at the stage, I believe it's on the right.
Okay.
So I think this angle was great. I thought it's been great from day one. MJF like slime, trying to take over the inner circle, but somebody wasn't going to be with it, and this is the next step. We did get some drama with Sammy this week, regarding Sammy at least. So there was like some type of pitch for him to go do an angle on Impact, but Sammy Guevara apparently did not agree with whatever this angle was supposed to be, and for good reason. When we found out what actually happened, I guess he was supposed to get. They were trying to link him up with Decay or have him lose to somebody, and I was like, "Oh hell no!" And then Sammy Guevara did the same thing. And I was like, I'm not doing that. And then people said at first there may have been heat on Sammy Guevara, but that turned out to not be the case. Said that, hey, there may be causing like some friction with the AEW Impact relationship. That's not the case. It's just, I think somebody tried to pitch Sammy an angle, and he was like, nah, like, and that was that. So,
yeah, I had no idea the K was still around in Impact. I had no idea. Not the slightest idea.
Yeah.
Last time I remember anything from the K was like the Matt Hardy shit. Like the K, I knew you come. Like, so that was years ago. That was like 2016. Or maybe the beginning of 2017. The very beginning before they went back to WWE. When it, like around the expedition of gold. Like, dude, that feels so long ago.
So long ago. Really yeah. Does. So with Sammy like leaving like that, he needs time away, and instantly everyone's head started, spinning. Like, to me, he can go to New Japan Strong. Like, it looks like Impact plans were up in the air, but like, at this point, like, if Sammy's like coming back, like he has to come back in the most epic fashion you can think of. If he's going outside, like, he doesn't need to be losing to anybody right now. Like his job, like Sammy Guevara has done lots of jobs, but now is the time to push the pause button on those, and and basically he'll get to re-debut as like a top star, if they do it right.
I don't know necessarily about top star, but but if he goes somewhere and goes on a does a program on whether program or whatever show or promotion, like he should be somewhere, depending on the promotion, like somewhere like third from the top or in the mid card, beating mid card talent on Impact or Strong or whatever else, and then come back. Like, he needs to get one of that. Like, the thing with Sammy was that, like, he's this talented heel that was the pin eater for his faction. He's leaving the faction. If he's going to leave the faction, he should probably not lose and get beat like a drum all the time again. Like, that would show elevation as, like, he's a different person when he comes back. So, yeah, if I were him, I wouldn't want to be involved in doing jobs for fucking Impact either. Yeah. That's fucking stupid. So yeah. Like, whatever happened, like, you ain't gonna never have me thinking like somebody is out of line from working a bigger promotion Impact to coming to Impact and saying like, I don't do jobs in Impact. Like, no, no, thank you. I don't want to show you how much of a team player I am. I kind of want to get myself over. All right. No, thank you.
And I'm not like I believe I sent a voice note. I was like, it's not that he can't do jobs in Impact.
It's that he shouldn't.
And if you were to do that, you need to introduce him in Impact, establish him as a big deal, probably get him some wins first, then do whatever you want to do with him.
Like, if you want to beat him on the way out, like, I don't necessarily have that much of a problem with it, but like, he better at least win like 2 matches before he loses one.
Right. it cut back to the bar, and Paige and Hardy were drinking. Matt was doing the old wrestler deal where you throw the drink on the floor, which I heard, people used to do around Ric Flair a lot. And Flair would drink actually himself. And then Matt said he would make him the number one wrestler in the world. He's going to make him richer than his wildest dreams.
Didn't he say a billionaire?
Yeah, he said some.
I think he said I'll make you a billionaire, and I was like, "Excuse me."
He said, but just 30% of all his money, but it'll be making so much it won't matter. Hardy handed Paige a contract, but Paige did the old switcheroo and had another contract. So I'm thinking it's going to be revealed that Matt Hardy has signed over all his money to the smart Hangman.
What does a cowboy need with money?
Fix up the ranch. Gotta make sure the horses is fed, and the horses got new saddles, and you've seen the Hangman shirts. Them shirts don't look cheap. You gotta keep a constant rotation.
I figured since he was a cowboy, he'd be making money off cattle or some shit like that, or blacksmithing or something, some tough and manly or whatever else, for the emo cowboy. But whatever. I guess he's. Look, there are worse things in the world than Con and con men. So whatever. He's Robin Hooding people. Maybe you should get that money out of guilt to the Dark Order.
So when do we get Hangman to don the cowboy hat? Do we have to have Jim Ross bestow the cowboy hat upon him? He's never worn a cowboy hat before? I feel like I've never seen it.
He didn't wear one to Revolution in a cowboy hat? He didn't wear a cowboy hat on the horse? Actually, I mean, not Revolution, but in the title match at All Out.
He had the bandana. I know that. That's what he normally does.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just glad he stopped wearing the rope. So.
You didn't like the fact that the Hangman had a noose?
I did not. I did not.
He didn't. Has he ever wrestled black wrestlers?
Huh?
Has he ever? I don't recall ever seeing Adam Page wrestling a black wrestler.
I think he's wrestled Private Party
with the noose.
No, not with the noose.
No. That is fucking horrible. Hey, bro, don't you ever bring that shit to the ringside when you're wrestling a black wrestler? Don't you ever do that?
Yeah, he hasn't ever wrestled with the noose in AEW. I bet you
that's probably why.
In Ring of Honor, I guarantee this happened.
Oh god, wrestling like Kenny King or Jay Lethal or Cheeseburger or some shit.
And he's coming out with the shit. Yeah, I guarantee that someone like Bubba Ray Dudley or some shit was like, go ahead, this is great heat.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I would have to look that up, but yeah, smart on whoever told the Hangman, hey, take that damn rope off. You embarrassing us. Take that monkey shit off. You embarrassing us. So, so he did the switcheroo with the contracts. Tony Schiavone was shown talking to Sting. But Sting really didn't get too far because Taz and Will Hobbs were on the screen, and they too are participating in kidnapping out here. And they put Darby Allin in a body bag, tied him to the back of a car, and drugged this man across the fucking lot. I was howling. And Darby ain't let nobody else do it. Darby pitched this shit himself. Darby said, I will do it. I will do the stunt. Drag me. Literally.
I didn't laugh at it because, when I was a kid, in the late 90s, one of those, Trayvon Martin, Eric Garner, Jacob Blake stories was a guy named Sean Bell in Texas that was, chained up to the back of a truck and dragged as a kid. So that's something that just stuck with me. So for me, I don't find that nearly as amusing. Because Because obviously it's like, one, something goes wrong, he get fucked up for real. Obviously they did stunts on it, but like, just the visual of that is like, that's not as, oh, that's stupid funny. It's like, nah, I've seen people getting lynched that way. So like, for me, that's kind of, that hit different for me. I'm not saying for anybody else to take it that way, but for me, it wasn't I didn't laugh at it in that way. I thought, like, nah, that's one of them things. That's one of them shits was like, don't go to Texas, they'll fuck you up. Like that's one of those things for me. Is like, as a child, like that stuck with me a little different. Sorry for like, we can move on to talk about stupid wrestling again, but I just like, nah, that didn't do it for me. That one just didn't do it for me for personal reasons.
Yeah. But Team Taz gets the advantage here. Something does happen, so that pushes it forward. So Sting not in action yet, but this definitely turned up the heat a little bit. Up next, Alex Marvez was at a golf course with Omega and Callis. Kenny Omega, a man of great talent and versatility in sports, all sport Kenny. He's, they asked why he was golfing before the match instead of training. Kenny said he didn't need to watch tape of his partner or the other guys. Basically what happened was Kenny Omega was hitting the ball up towards the hole, and then Callis would take the balls and put them in and then claim Kenny got another eagle, so Kenny wouldn't know because he's a fucking doofus. And then he drove off, and the golf cart wouldn't give Marvez a ride. I died laughing. We got the women's tournament match in the first round. Thunder Rosa faced off against Layla Hirsch, and this was actually pretty good. I know Layla Hirsch has been very divisive in some circles, but I think she stepped up big time here, and Thunder Rosa just like delivers every single time she's on TV. Like, no matter who the opponent is, they're gonna have to fight a little harder to get through Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, so I have to come out here and do I have to do out here and do self-editing, right? So the person that I'm thinking of that got dragged in Texas wasn't Sean Bell. Sean Bell was a dude from New York that got shot.
That was a dude in New York.
Yeah, they got shot. I'm thinking of James Byrd Jr. My bad. I'm sorry. I there's been so many of these in my lifetime that I'm mistaking the names now of heinous incidents and miscarriages of justice. Yeah, so
absolutely.
My bad. So, but yeah, I don't know. Is Kenny? Are we still running with Kenny doesn't know like that? Your boy's evil, and he's just deluded. What do you think the standing is? Like, what do you think they want us to think right now?
I think they want us to think Callis is gassing Omega up to like insane levels to where he can pull the wool over his eyes, like where he needs to. Okay, that's like the situation with the Bucks. Like he's doing the thing. He made his golf ball go in for him. Like, oh, right. You're doing great, Kenny. Like, different shit like that. Right. Okay. Because I'm feeling like the hook is going to be where like all of a sudden like the pretense gets dropped and it's like, nah, he's not gaslighting me. He's doing these things so he's gaslighting y'all, and we're getting over on all of y'all like that are close to me, like the Young Bucks, for example. Like I feel like that might be the thing, but but there it could be either one. So I'm trying to figure out like what you think. Like maybe I'm thinking too into it, but it's like he dresses terribly. He really does. He truly does. They wanted my dog to start dressing. They told him to stop wearing shorts and polos, but he tried to show y'all the versatility, the rest of the fist, the rest of the drip, but they still ain't appreciate it.
We can move on.
So first round, I had mentioned Thunder Rosa and Layla Hirsch.
Yeah. Really good match, and you mentioned that as far as the divisiveness around Layla Hirsch. And are we done now? Is that through? Is this match? Was this 3.5 star match? Give them is that enough to hold people over to say that like, yeah, she's capable? because my whole thing is like, this is her first good match in AEW. So it's like, what is the thing about why you don't particularly like this woman? What's going on?
Yeah.
The D match was good. This match was very good. She's had like 4 matches in AEW or whatever, or on television anyway, or 3. Are we done now?
Yeah. So I guess this is a good time for me to talk about the Japanese side of the bracket. I watched it today. For James hasn't seen it yet, but this was about a little bit over an hour, maybe an hour and 5 minutes, hour and 7 minutes. It was a fun show. The first 2 matches I think were really awesome. The best match on the show was the Veni and Emi Sakura match. I really like that one. I might be out the high man on this. I looked, and actually Cage Match kind of lines up with me. I gave it a 4. I think that this is the best Emi Sakura's looked in AEW. She dropped all the Freddie Mercury shit and put on, the regular outfit and got to work, essentially. Yuka Sakazaki, Mei Segura was the first match, opened it up. I thought this was pretty good. I gave this one 3 3/4. I think Mei Segura was a little sloppy. She messed a few things up, but Yuka Sakazaki kind of held it together and covered for a lot. She ended up getting a W. The next match, like I said, was the Vinny and Emi Sakura match, and this was like I think Vinny got over really big with everyone that was watching. Vinny's offense was particularly impressive from the aerial aspects and definitely some of the power offense that they used. And Excalibur was phenomenal on commentary the whole time. Lots of mentions about like Manami Toyota and tying in all the storylines from Tokyo Joshi Pro and everyone's backstories. It was a one-man performance, so he sounded really refreshed and knew what he was talking about. The third match was
hey Rich, repeat your last sentence because you broke up a little bit. All right,
what's up?
Repeat like your last couple sentences because you broke up a little bit. All right.
All right. So I think, like I was saying, Vinny impressed a great deal with their offense, and I think that that was the best match, definitely, of the show. The next match was who was it? It was Maki Ito and Ryo Mizunami. I think her name is
Ryo Mizunami. Like, I have the headphones off because I don't want to be. I have the headphones off, so I don't want to be spoiled on this. But like, I can hear the muffles of the headphone while I have my mic muted. So like, I'm overseeing this as your solo for now, and like, and wave when you're done.
I think that this match was okay. Maki Ito, if she does, I had a tweet take off on Twitter as I was tweeting about it. Her entrance is a complete superstar entrance. If she does this on TNT, she's immediately going to get over. This has 24 retweets and 133 likes on it. So I think she immediately becomes over. And if she does it 5 times, people will start learning the words in Japanese to participate along with her. So this match kind of shocked me. I thought Ito would get through here, but Ryo Mizunami ended up getting the win. She did a lot of comedy. She did like some mining stuff in the empty building that I don't know if it went over as well. I went ahead and gave this one 3 stars. But at the end, we got Ryo Kedokura. What the hell is her name? Ryo Kendokura, I believe, face off against Aja Kong. And Aja Kong actually took a lot of bumps for her, which was shocking. I think this is a pretty basic match, basic Aja squash. Ryo Kedokura fought extremely hard from all the angles. Kong's, she has so much. She has some limitations on her mobility. So Reno Kedokura did a great job attacking from all angles, off all four corners of the ropes, a lot of running attacks, and then kind of just, taking big moves from Aja Kong, like the big back suplex she does, or side suplex she does. She took a brutal pile driver, and at the end, Kong finished her with the elbow off the top rope, which was fucking amazing. I love seeing Aja Kong here. And before the match, Aja Kong did a death glare at Hikaru Shida, perhaps foreshadowing that, she's coming after her, which, could be a possibility. As we mentioned, they did have a match in 2018, but a very enjoyable presentation, highly recommended show, just over an hour. And this was, I know a lot of people were concerned about the building. A lot of people were concerned about the building and how it looked on camera. The building is not up to snuff as far as I feel completely vindicated for saying it should not be on television, just because it's a very small building. I do think it was well filmed, though. High quality video, high quality camera work, but the building, you're not putting that on TNT. But for this presentation, I think the show was awesome. I think they hit it off the park. So, James will see this and have to go back and listen to that and see if he agrees with me on these takes here about the tournament. But
so when you waved me to come back on and put headphones on, you mentioned the ice ribbon small. I don't know if that's necessarily their dojo, if that's a place where they have these super small venues. But yeah, I heard that it was going to be on YouTube, and I was like, oh, that sucks. And then once I heard that it was going to be at exactly where I thought it was going to be at, it's the same place, for example, where I seen you that video of Tsukasa Fujimoto going 5 minutes with a broom and having a good match with a broom. That's same building. So I was like, yeah, that's not going to do for television. That ring's super small. That's like a 12 by 12 or 14 by 14 size ring. That's way too small. Building's way too small. It makes sense for the intimacy of if there's gonna be no fans, but it makes sense to be on YouTube instead of actually on television. If they're gonna go on television, that shit needed to be at Shinkiba First Ring, or hell, maybe even rent 2 hours at Corkin Hall to get it done.
Right.
But yeah, I'll check it out now, and we'll talk about it. Or we'll catch up over the next 2 weeks when it's being put up. So
then we got the main event: Kenta and Kenny Omega against Jon Moxley and Lance Archer in a lights out Falls Count Anywhere match. My God, just absolute insanity!
Chaos.
Just completely people Attitude Era brawls. This is better than all of them. I don't that's what this was. It was just I like the interplay between Kenta and Kenny Omega. We got Kenta's real music on Dynamite, which popped me that I didn't have to see the we do not own the rights to this footage logo, or we do not own the music rights disclaimer. While he came out, Tony made sure the check was cut and the rights were acquired because Tony is big bicep tone and the money is long. And this was a match that it was just Kenta's fucking up Moxley, Moxley's fucking up Kenny, Kenny's fucking up Moxley, Archer's coming back fucking them both up. They're taking turns brawling all around the ring, and then brawling around the building, and then coming back to the ring. Out of all these different things, Archer looked like a monster, like a Frankenstein monster. He, I think he gave Kenny a choke slam, and then I think it was him that fell through Peter Avalon's bed, if I'm not mistaken.
I think.
But yeah, it was just craziness. Kenny with the moonsault with the garbage can. This was
have we seen him for him before?
Ken's coming over to. Yes, he's done the moonsault with the garbage can.
Okay, that's what it was. I was I felt like I saw him do that before, but not it's a big deal. Oh, you did a spot once a year? That's fine.
Yeah. There was a crazy spot that Kenta did where he avoided a big Archer clothesline and then jumped off the stage with the 2 feet on Moxley. while Moxley was set up on the ring side table, I fucking yelled at the TV. I was like, "Oh my god!" Like that's why I knew this match was crazy. It was like a god tier camera cut. That like it was like, whoa, what the fuck is going on?
Like, it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, if you can do that, then like Kenta should like not have been laid on. It was one of those things where like it made Kenta feel like he was just sitting there waiting to do his spot as opposed to whatever else. But like the spot, it was cool, so it didn't matter. Like, who cares? It was cool.
Yeah.
And then they caught it in slow motion, made it even more cool.
Yeah, I think it was Austin Gunn. They, basically it all breaks down. Jake Roberts gets involved. There's a V-trigger tease on Jake, which I thought it was going to be the end of Jake Roberts' life on Turn Network television. He did a clothesline to Carl Anderson. And then Moxley came in with the barbed wire baseball bat on everybody. They traded some big moves. Kenta and Kenny both gave Archer a low blow. Anderson, Gallows and Anderson ran in. They did the magic kill on Archer. Then it was like a triple one-wing angel essentially to put Archer away. And at the end of the match, I think everyone there was kind of clamoring for Kenny and Lance Archer to do a singles match. So this was excellent. 4.5. And I think the Jon Moxley Kenta match is hotter. And I was not really even necessarily a person that was like clamoring for it. I wasn't like hot for it, but now I'm like definitely going to check it out. Like can't miss. They've done an excellent job like putting Kenta in the presentation of like finally someone from New Japan coming over to AEW. It just felt a historic event and an awesome match to boot.
Yeah, great match. I think I had it 4.5 as well. Initially watching it the first time. Yeah, just a real fun match. And like if you put Kenny Omega, like when I had concerns about him after he won the title the way he did, and wonder if like he was going to call himself the best bout machine while having like these matches with fuck finishes. Like I am long off that stance now. We are at a point now where he's had enough great matches and to where like that possibility like that's long gone. Like he's not going to do that. So super happy with his title reign so far. It's been a blast since it's been a blast in his main event matches.
I have Kenny with 4 matches on my 2021 recommended matches list. 3 of them are 4.5. One of them is a 4, and one of them is a 5. So, yeah. So, and we'll see who he gets on pay-per-view. So,
are you including Mexico?
No. His match in Impact.
Okay.
Him and Big Brother against Moose, Swan, and Saban. I give that a 4.
Okay, I didn't watch it. That was from their last pay-per-view. Yeah. I have it. I just haven't watched it yet. Maybe I'll get around to it. I feel like I'm always like, I don't know about you. You probably don't feel this way. I feel like no matter how much wrestling I watch, I feel like I'm always fucking behind.
Look, there's some shit I just sacrifice. Like I'm like, man, I just had to come back to it whenever.
No, I mean, like the stuff
forward.
I mean, like the stuff for this show that we cover, like the NXT, the Stardom, the AEW, whatever New Japan, whatever main roster stuff that happens. And we only really cover like the big shows in New Japan anyway. I feel like I'm up to date on all that. I just feel like all the other ancillary stuff that I would like to get to, I'm just like, damn, bro. Like
the New Beginning.
Yeah. I only saw the first show. I haven't caught up on that. I don't have to catch that's so.
Damn.
Look, I actually am behind now. So like, I will have to actually watch. Yeah, so I will actually have to catch up on all the new those 3 New Beginning shows.
That's why we got Keepin It Strong Style. Like everybody that wants every show, the road tours, everything. They'll go ahead and cover all that for you.
Wow,
I ain't got you on that one.
Yeah.
There's only so many Bushi versus Master Wato matches I'd be able to stomach with the same finish. So
yeah, but we didn't even like for the first show, like the Shingo and Tanahashi and the Kojima and Ospreay match. We didn't even cover that from a couple weeks ago. We didn't even cover that.
Kojima was great.
It was fun. It was very fun.
I got to see the main event still.
The main event was better.
Yeah. But yeah, that was Dynamite this week. Like I said, the inner circle angle, I was, seeing people were very hot for that one. The main event definitely went over very well. And the opener was kind of a surprise. So
very, very good show. I like, to me, the tournament, the women's tournament match with Thunder Rosa and Layla was very good. We had one of the best matches we're going to get all year in AEW in the main event, and then we had a kick-ass opener. Like, I thought this was a very, very good show.
Yep. So, without further ado, I guess, James, hit the music.
Okay, so this weekend there was 2 Korakuen Hall shows in Stardom. Those are the last shows, the last 2 Korakuen Hall shows before we get to Cinderella, All-Star Dream, Cinderella. It's a huge, the Budokan Hall show. I can't remember the official title for it. Like, it feels like they add another word to the damn thing every time I see it. Like, what it was All-Star Dream, then it was All-Star Dream Cinderella. Next thing you know, I don't know what the next time it's called. The Budokan Hall show. So on that card, we only have one match up on that card. On either card right now, it's the SWA match between Shuri and Izumi. I have not watched it yet. I'll wait till the rest of it pops up to watch it. But yeah, before that though, we've had what 3 shows, I believe, to get to this point. So most of the stuff revolving around it is, help building up towards that, and also with the SEAdLINNG stuff also builds up towards the Budokan Hall show. So we'll get to the SEAdLINNG stuff to build towards the Budokan Hall show right now. Yoshiko showed up with Nanae Takahashi at the year-end climax show. And they did the whole, they basically shot the angle to get to, the two of the big featured matches on the Budokan Hall show. Nanae Takahashi versus Momo Watanabe and Mayu versus Yoshiko. So I think like 2-3 weeks ago, Saya, Momo, and Mayu showed up at a SEAdLINNG show. And answered their challenges. So those matches are now on, and Momo and Saya decided to have a match with the new tag team champions SEAdLINNG, Nanae Takahashi and Arisa Nakajima. So they had a match on the 10th of February, and in their main event, it went like 23 minutes, something like that. I think this is Rich's second time we're watching a SEAdLINNG match. What were your thoughts on it, Rich?
I was kind of I watched it, right? And but I was kind of hurt by the fact there was like no commentary, and I didn't quite grasp the storyline going in. I was like, okay, there are outsiders going into SEAdLINNG. I figured it was building up whatever happened on the fallout from the angle before. But I'm like, why are the little homies going? Almost like,
oh well, it was basically like Momo. They're basically like, okay, so Momo wants to do a match in SEAdLINNG, right?
Yeah.
All right, so going back, let's go all the way back from when they showed up at the year-end show. Yoshiko and Nanae get in the ring, while everybody except for Queen's Quest is inside the ring, basically watching the 2020 recap video after the main event of the year-end show. So they show up, they say, Shiko says, Mayu, you're the icon of Joshi wrestling, please. or whatever else. Basically, alluding to the when I was around, you were a geek and I was a champion. So I issue a challenge, icon. I want a match. So then, then
bro, you know what that would be like? That would be like if Hogan came back in like '97, like, oh, you're the icon now, huh, Sean? You're the icon, huh?
That's funny. So basically, as that's happening, and Mayu standing up, and they're going face to face, like Yoshiko gets closer and closer. So then Lasai was like, "You're not gonna put a hand on Mayu or whatever else, And Yoshiko's like laughing, like, okay. So, as all happening, like Nanae interjects, Julia says something. Starlight Kid takes the mic from Julia. She's like, "You just got here. Get the fuck out of here." This is like, it's nice that you said something, but like, no,
you, baby.
Yeah, like her line to Yoshiko was like, "Oh, this is someone that fell runner up in the Joshi Award this year, or whatever else." That's what she said. And then like they took the mic from her. So then like all of a sudden, all the Queen's Quest, because Kamitani just got pinned and lost the tag belts. No, she's about to go fucking main event. Whatever. I'm not gonna get to that point. But she had just lost, so they were consoling her like outside of the ring, and then like basically after like all that stuff is happening, tensions are flaring up in the ring. Momo gets into the ring and says, because Queen's Quest, tweeners, they don't fuck with Mayu because like Io and Momo both turned on Mayu, kind of start off this Queen's Quest thing. So she's like, "Look, this is a Stardom problem." So, and you got these two people back here. I was here when they were around. Like, what are we gonna do to get these motherfuckers out of here, right? Mm-hmm. So he's like, "Okay, I'll take on Yoshiko. You take on Nanae." So, and then you had the whole thing with Saya interjecting herself by being bold enough to get in the way of Yoshiko. So it's like, all right, well, I guess we'll stop worrying about like the allegiances of our two factions, and because it's now starting for SEAdLINNG, and like, "Lasai, you come with me and we'll take on Nanae and her tag team co-champion Arisa Nakajima." Like that's basically the whole story.
So yeah, it makes more sense now. Like, so I watched this match and very tight, crisp work. It seems like Nanae and Arisa Nakajima took turns off Lil Saya's ass. Momo was in there a little bit, but not like that much. She was trying to throw some kicks and all that, but this was like a demolition of Lil Saya, who I think we should call her Big Saya actually, and then the other Saya should be just Tall Saya.
Well, okay. I call them Lil Saya and Big Saya because obviously one is 4'9", the other one is like 5'6" or whatever else. So
like the big one,
right? So I think actually over there in Japan, in domestic fans, they call Big Saya Tall Saya, and they call Lil Saya Giant Saya.
There we go. That's the energy I'm on.
So I don't know if you've peeped this yet, but if you ever hear Gory-chan, they're I'll wait till you finish drinking that water. I'll let you spit the shit out on the mic. So ever since like they started calling her Giant Saya when they were doing when they were that tag team in the tag league in 2019, they start because she's gotten her physique has changed. She's strong. She's always been strong as fuck, but now like the physique matches how strong she was already. Now she's even stronger. So they now call her Gory-chan because like they was like she's strong as a fucking gorilla. So yeah, so like her nickname now is like Macho Gorilla Saya Iida. So right. Gory-chan. So
Big
like
Saya. From
so Giant Saya, whatever you can call it. Look, you can call her. So whatever, Giant Saya. That works. So if that's how you want to do it, we can now move on to like how they call them that too. So we can call her Giant Saya. So they whooped the shit out of Giant Saya. They beat the piss out of her, dude. Like because the thing for me was watching the match. Keep in mind, this is my second SEAdLINNG match in a long time. Like, I hadn't, because we were talking about, like, I felt like I was behind. Like, I was behind on seeing, like, from June until Nanae's return, I hadn't watched a match. I watched Nanae's return match, and then I watched this match. So
Nanae grew her hair back?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's been over a year. Yeah. So, anyway, Momo and Giant Saya, they come out to Momo's music. Then, all of a sudden, like, Arisa and Nanae have this goofy music.
I'm like, what the fuck is this? I was like, bro, they're coming out here, and, like, bro, I was like, this fucking killer, what is she doing? Like, she's like...
She's being goofy. Well, the thing is, she's not...
And dancing and caking and just
the thing is this. Nanae wrestles like a killer because she's 5'6" or whatever else and like 140, so she's bigger than the average Joshi nowadays, right? But like that's not how her personality. She's not actually a monster, or she's not actually like Aja Kong or like that. Like, her personality is she's a normal person that just beat everybody and is a great technical wrestler, and like, because like that's her style, she just beats the piss out of people because she's wrestling people she's always bigger than normally. Like, so like her entrance music is like she has great entrance music. So does Arisa, right? Arisa's Nakajima's entrance music sounds like some Swedish House Mafia early 2010 shit. So anyway, they have this shit is like sounds like some old timey singing, and like they're they dance in the ring and they out here dancing and shit. It's hilarious, and like Nanae's like she having a blast and it's goofy. And the Stardomers they jump them at the bell, and Momo jumps Nanae and Giant Saya jumps Arisa, and Arisa's like, I know damn well this little ass girl didn't just jump me behind, and like immediately after getting whooped, turns around and throws her ass out the ring, and like. It was just funny, because then, like, Momo starts throwing, a notorious kicker in the world of professional wrestling. He starts throwing these mid kicks to Nanae, and Nanae's no-selling them shits. And it didn't, like, backs her down in the corner, started whapping her in the chest with chops and shit, and then, like, gets Saya in there, and Arisa gets in there, and, Giant Saya starts throwing, forearms to the chest, multiple over, like, just heated ones repeatedly, like, boom, 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 boom to Arisa in the corner. And then Arisa just, like, comes forward. Saya keeps with the forearms, hits one big one, goes to the ropes, comes with a drop kick. Arisa sidesteps it, then just basically, like, hits one of them disrespect kicks while she was, like, trying to get up to her face, and then goes and gets Giant Saya, gets her to her feet, and fucking rocks her with like one of those Minoru Suzuki forearms, and it just staggers Giant Saya. She goes to the mat, she's wobbling around, you see her eyes rolling back of her head, and you can see Momo like in the background, her face is like, damn, she hit you so hard, and it put it over even better. Like,
it's like you can see, like, sometimes when wrestlers throw the forearms at people, it's like, oh, okay, they're exaggerating in a safe place or whatever. But this one was like, oh, you hit your little sibling a little too hard. Like, that's what this was like.
Yeah, it was one of those where it's like, whoa. Did a shoot just break out? So, they say, so, like, the rest of the match is that, like, it's just, like, different moments of, those two just beating the living shit out of Saya, and Saya, like, working from underneath, getting back to her feet, and firing back with her, she has great fire, firing back with forearms and stuff, and she would get a whole spot here and there, and Momo would help her. Like, there was a spot where, I think there was, Nanae hits a B driver, and then Momo gets in the ring and then hits her, the running Meteora or whatever else, and it basically flips the pin over onto Nanae's shoulder so Saya can get the pin attempt. Oh, and there's also a spot where like Arisa like beats shit out of Giant Saya and gets her back to her. She gets back up to her knees. And, like, Arisa just wrists back and hits one of those spinning back kicks and just takes her fucking head off. Basically by the end of it, Nanae ends up hitting her big splash finish. She ends up lifting Giant Saya back up and then hitting her a short clothesline and pinning her. And it's like, yo, this was a blast to watch. Great pacing. Like, that 20 minutes flew by. I joke with y'all or whatever else by like recording the times people get murdered in Stardom or whatever else. Especially Giant Sag, she's great at selling, but like there were 4 different murderable moments where I could like gift it or made a video clip of it and send it to y'all, and all in this one match alone of her just getting murdered. It was a fan. I thought it was a great match. Like. Momo and Nanae had very good moments when they were in there, and like you get the idea that like when they're gonna have that match, like it's gonna be a lot of Momo trying to fight
on that tree,
right, with kicks. Yeah.
Also, one other note on their entrance. So like it was so goofy. It was like, do you remember like the Malcolm X movie? Like when Denzel and Spike Lee are like walking through Harlem and they got them clown suits on, like and they walking through the streets. Like that's like the vibe I got from them. They had them fucking clown suits on. That's what it felt like. The entrance, like how happy they were, and like the faces they were making to dance. I'm like, hold on, this don't line up, but. Yeah, very physical match.
Yeah. Okay, so just to catch up on the stuff we've I guess to catch up to the shows we'll talk about next week, the Corgan Hall shows. They're starting off this I think they're calling it a 7-match trial series where basically like Unagi wrestles 7 singles matches against 7 other people in Stardom, obviously. It started out actually at the show where they had the last Mayu and Tam singles match. She lost on the undercard of that match. Afterwards, after Tam says that, like, Mayu, we have to do this again after that draw, she apologizes to Tam and says that, like, I got to get better or whatever else, and Tam said, well, you just got to get a lot more experience, you haven't been wrestling as much as we have, so she suggests to like, impromptu, I guess, I don't know, like, let's do this 7-match series idea, and, like, Rossi's like, I'll think about it, so then, basically, like, it goes into motion where, you have Tam and Unagi versus Julia, and I want to say it was Micah. It's actually undercard of the undercard of the 30th show of the January 30th show that had Momo versus Shuri. Anyway, Julia is in the ring with Unagi and she is beating the piss out of Unagi, no selling all of her offense and telling her to bring it more. Basically having her fight underneath a less physical version of what Arisa Nakajima and Nanae were doing with Giant Saya. So she's fighting back, and ultimately, like, she ends up Julia at the end of the match ends up slapping on the sleeper hold and choking her out. And they have to get the ref to pull Julia off. Tam's pissed off, of course. That's what sets up like the first match of the series, Julia versus Unagi. Match follows the same thing. It's a good match. Follows the same thing where Julia's no selling a lot of her offense. Ultimately ends up beating her, but she ends up getting more hold spots in. Match goes longer. She doesn't have to rely. She's not relying on Tam to be able to do anything with Julia. Shows some heart, but gets beat. So at the end of it, Julia gets on the mic and says, "You know what? I can't believe I'm saying this, but in a week you've actually improved. Maybe like Tam's not that bad of a mentor, something like that, right?" So. Tam says thank you for acknowledging the growth of Unagi, and then Julia says, "Oh, that's it? That's all you got?" So then basically like teases her about the white belt stuff because after their last match, Julia said, "We have to do this again," back in October, right?
Oh, I was gonna say who's more tied to the idea of the white belt? Tetsuya Naito or Tam Nakano?
Tam, because Tam is actually a legitimate mid-carder that is trying to elevate by winning the white belt. Whereas Tetsuya Naito is the top merch person in the company, but because he is of his health and unreliability, you don't put him at the top. You pick Okada at the top more times than not. And then, it's like same thing with like, Nakamura and Tanahashi. Is like one person's more dependable. Go with the more dependable person, even if like the ceiling may potentially be higher with the other person, because you can't, for some reason, you just can't trust that person as much. It's a weird thing.
So is an absolute cuck. Challenging for the Intercontinental title only. Watching Ibushi have sex with the IWGP title. You sucker. And y'all LIJ folks are suckers. Y'all went through all this shit. This man gave out a free title shot.
Amen.
And I'm going to come back and challenge for the white belt. Look, at the end of the day, it's where he belongs.
That's my point. He has always been white belt material. No knock against him. If you're white belt material, that means you should be the top champion in almost every other wrestling promotion. But there is a guy named Kazuchika Okada that is in the way. It is like also like 6 years younger than him. Sorry.
Hey, I just have one question for LIJ fans. With all these open borders and open doors and the threat of this Omega Ibushi match that seems to be out there, like, how do y'all feel knowing that like Kenny Omega might win the IWGP title before Naito does again?
well, what I would that's funny.
With that.
Now the real thing is Naito needs to come over here.
Oh yeah.
Eventually, yeah. I mean, if you look at their resumes for why Kenny Omega's in the Observer Hall of Fame already and Naito's not in yet, it's because like one has proven that he has been a draw outside of his country or in multiple countries. We have not yet seen that from Naito, so Naito might want to get his ass on a plane eventually to help his case. If this is something he actually cares about, which tranquilo, but he really does care. So we'll see.
Yeah. Just want to leave the LIJ stands with that. Since I wasn't going to be on Keepin It Strong Style this week.
But yeah, so Julia's like, well, I said we were going to do this again eventually, so like that's all. You just want to say thank you for me saying compliments to your rogue. You don't want to do this again? She's like, yeah. She's like, all right, well, you want to do this again? You got to put something up. And Tam's like, what? And Julius like, well, I don't know if it's a translation thing, but it was something about you got to put up a status of your womanhood or whatever else, and then grabs her by the hair. And she's like, what do you mean? If you want a match for the white belt again, you will put your hair on the line. And she's like, I'll give you to the next show to decide. So next show, they have a tag match, and it's Julia and not Micah this time. It's Natsupoi versus Tam and Unagi. They have a good ass match, like 3/4, maybe 4, and ultimately ends up coming down to Natsupoi and Tam. And they follow on the storyline that they did where like Julia beats the shit out of Unagi. And she hurt her so bad that like Tam kind of was like, I'm kind of wrestling a handicap match here because she beat you up so bad that I have to go the distance. So she goes the distance, ends up going like the last like felt like 8-10 minutes with just Natsupoi and Tam. Tam puts her away with the Tiger Suplex, pins her and gets on the mic and says, look, when you asked me at the last show if I was going to do this, be quite frank with you, I had already made up my mind. I've told you this before. I'll chase you into hell for this fucking belt. She said not fucking belt, but she basically I will follow you through hell for this belt. She said that. So she says, all right, well, Julia's like, okay, well, let's do it. And then she leaves, and then Tam was like, I forgot what she said, but it was heartfelt, and that was the end of it.
So does Tam get the squiggly lines like Minoru Suzuki?
Sorry?
Does Tam get the squiggly lines like Minoru Suzuki?
If she loses, I would assume it would be more like the Matrix. Like the resistance, the underground resistance in the Matrix, just a basically like a one with no line.
Damn.
Yeah. So
Tim Duncan style.
Wow. Early Tim Duncan, first wife Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tim got base now, right?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. I saw that. He got a young boy haircut. With gray in it. Yeah. He's not coaching anymore, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Like last year, his last season was when he was like, I'm done after this. Yeah. He basically like did it for like 1 or 2 years and was done. Yeah. So continuing on with the Unagi thing, Unagi ended up wrestling later on the very last show before the Korakuen. She ended up wrestling Azumi. It was a good match. Azumi she can carry anybody to anywhere. It doesn't matter. 18, just carry anybody anywhere. It was a very good match. It was better than the Julia match, but they were trying to have a good match opposed to the storyline. And then also what's going on with the tag belts. Konami and B are the tag belts, or the tag champions. They won them at the year-end show when I think it was B. I think B pinned Saya. I can't remember, but it had her crying outside the ring. But so what they've been doing is they've had Himeka and Natsupoi as the. You'll catch a trend here when I mention like Donald losing and his Natsupoi used to pin, but they were they are a tag team, so they challenged for the tag belts. I believe it was at the same show as the Shuri and Momo SWA match, and being Konami won. So and they pinned Natsupoi. So Himeka gets on the mic and was like, I want a rematch, and I want a different DDM tag partner. That's basically what she said. So she basically like, look, like, screw that. Like, you wrestled me with a pin. She didn't say that, but she's like, you wrestled me with a pin eater, wrestled me with another person, one of the other 3 people in Dynamite is fucking, that's like kayfabe good. So, it's honestly, like, Natsupoi skill-wise is like the second best wrestler in Dynamite, or third, whatever. I mean, it depends on how you feel about Julia's like everyday work or whatever else. But anyway, so she pulls up Micah. So on the Sunday show, they wrestled. So we'll see what that's like in the next couple or over the week. Like when these matches come in. Like the first match they put up was Zumi and Shuri. So I imagine that match was fantastic. But I'll wait to watch it. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got.
Yeah, man. So, like, it was short notice, so I did not prepare my 5 rap lies this week. I was trying to look some up, but I could not stumble upon any, so I'm just going to have to go in old-fashioned style and just listen to a lot of music this week if I plan on getting some good old-fashioned things that sound like lies.
Well, I mean, Rick Ross is a good place to start, so... Yeah, I was thinking about like who really lies a lot. Like I definitely looked up Rick Ross. I looked up some T.I. songs just to see if I could catch him slipping. I do have a T. Like off the top of my head, I thought about this. Like there's a T.I. line from given what's going on around him lately. There's a great apparently a great T.I. line in the last verse of Get Loose.
Oh.
Yeah, from that third verse. So, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
So, might have to do more research on that. But, we did a show with Chad Matthews as well as Sir Sam from WrestlingHeadlines.net over the weekend. I don't know when it's hitting the feeds on the Doc Says podcast, but whenever we get that link, we'll promote it in our show links. We basically did a draft of like every AEW pay-per-view, the matches on it. There were like certain rules we had to abide by. And this is a very kind of interesting game we all played. And I'd be interested to see, if you guys, who's the roster you guys like, or a set of matches you like the most on it. So that was really fun to do.
Yeah, it definitely was a blast. Did he give you a date on that?
He did not say, but I'd anticipate it being out before Revolution.
That would make sense. Otherwise, it'd be immediately dated.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess it's the end of the show, right?
Yep. We will holler at y'all. Yeah.
Be sure to rate us on whatever app you're using to listen to this with. And tell the folks about the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Be sure to go to prowrestlingtees.com/social suplex and pick up some Social Suplex Podcast Network merchandise, and also listen to other shows on the network. Keepin It Strong Style, the Ricky Clive Wrestling Show, Garment Washes Shit, Great Match Generator, The Great Consequences, 8-Bit Suplex, and All Things Elite. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Peace.